पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिनां मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब मनुसन्ददामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणी। ब्रह्मानन्दं परमसुखदं केवलं ज्ञानमूर्तिं द्वन्द्वातीतं गगनसदृशं तत्त्वमस्यादिलक्ष्यम् एकं नित्यं विमलमचलं सर्वदी साक्षिभूतं भावातीतं त्रिगुणरहितं सद्गुरुं तं नमामि। पार्थाय प्रतिबोधितां भगवता नारायणेन स्वयं व्यासेन ग्रथितां पुराणमुनिनां मध्ये महाभारतम् अद्वैतामृतवर्षिणीं भगवतीम् अष्टादशाध्यायिनीम् अम्ब मनुसन्ददामि भगवद्गीते भवद्वेषिणी। वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम्। I welcome you all with my love and respects. We'll start with a small story. A Hollywood director was shooting his big budget movie in a desert area. Suddenly one day, an old Indian appears. He goes to the director and says, "Tomorrow rain." It happens, really, next day rain pours. After 1 week, again, same Indian appears and says, "Tomorrow storm." Exactly it happened. Next day there was a big storm and he had to cancel the shooting. After seeing 3-4 times, the director was really impressed and he tells his assistant, "Get that old Indian, we will pay him and keep him with us." After 3 weeks. Suddenly the Indian has disappeared. He has not come back for more than a month. Director somehow searches and gets him back and asks him, please tell me about tomorrow. Tomorrow I have an important scene. I have to shoot an important scene. Very costly set. I rely only on you. Tell me about tomorrow. Old man just shrugged his shoulder and said, don't know because radio is broken. My radio is broken. Look in before coming to any conclusion. That is the message of today. Look in. Look in is the subject. The 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita starts with the first Krishna sloka. This chapter, Arjuna is not putting any question. Krishna is directly answering. He is continuing. He is continuing his answers. His answer from last chapter, translated very wrongly as celibacy. No. Celibacy is not the right word for brahmacharya. In Sanskrit, the word means so beautiful, such a wonderful concept. In English, you don't have equivalent word because the very idea never existed. The very idea of brahmacharya never existed. Brahmacharya means brahmacharya. Brahma means existence, reality, divine. Charya means living like. Brahmacharya means man who lives like a god, who lives with existence, who lives with reality. Please be very clear. Brahmacharya word does not mean who is unmarried. In course of time, when it is translated as celibacy, we started using that word to a person who is unmarried. No. Brahmacharya means who lives with existence. Most of us live with fantasies. Look in, you will understand how much of fantasies are there inside. Our whole life is a fantasy. Our whole life is running behind fantasies. We don't live with the reality. You neither live with the real husband, nor you relate with the real wife. If you look into our life deeply, we may live in the same house, but count how many times we look into each other's eyes. How many times eye contact happens? You don't need 2 hands to count. You don't need 2 hands to count. The reason is, always the screen of fantasy is there between you and your spouse, between you and the life. Continuously, you don't want to look into the life as it is. You are not ready to accept the life as it is. Continuously, we are working on developing the life. We are not ready to look into the life as it is. Just today, I got a book, beautiful book. Men are from Mars and women are from Venus. I was just seeing the book. There are so many nice things he has expressed in that book. Men are from Mars, women are from Venus. To tell you honestly, there are so many things which he expressed is the reality. In our life, if you see what is happening, in our life, if you just look around, exactly what is going on, I can say we should find out some other term. The Venus and Mars are too close. They are from same galaxy. We should find out something else. Our life is just filled with fantasies. Continuously we are chiseling the other person. Continuously the other person is chiseling us. You have imagination. According to your imagination, you chisel the real person. All sound which is heard in your house is the chiseling sound. It's nothing but the chiseling sound. Continuously we go on chiseling. You can chisel a stone and make a beautiful sculpture and keep it in your house. You can chisel wood and make a beautiful furniture and have it in your house. But you can't chisel a living being. When you start chiseling a living being, you create more and more trouble for yourself and for the other person. A person who is matured enough to live with reality, achieve the state of brahmacharya. Brahmacharya means living with a real person, just dropping the fantasies. Living with a real person, living with a reality is what I call brahmacharya. Here again and again Krishna says, just renouncing the sacred fire, not performing his duty, does not mean you are a ascetic, you are a sannyasi. Please be very clear. When he says renouncing fire, in those days, fire is the base for everything. Whether cooking or doing spiritual practices, for everything you need fire. I can replace the word fire to cell phone. In modern day, we can add in this way. Don't think just by dropping cell phone you can become a great sannyasi or a great karma yogi. Today, in the modern day, cell phone and laptop has become a basic need. How the cell phone and laptop is a basic need. In those days, the Agni was the basic need for life. Please be very clear. How you are able to relate, communicate with people through cell phone. Our ancient rishis, they know the technique of relating with higher energies through fire. We should understand an important thing. Just how we are using cell phone and communicating, same way our masters, they know how to use the fire and communicate with higher energies. The whole science is nothing but using light particles. The whole science can be reduced of using light particles, whether it is electricity or atomic energy, everything. Everything is nothing but handling light particles with a different formulas, with a different method, with a different technology. Whether it is your fan, iron box, or this microphone, video camera, laptop, an atom bomb, everything can be reduced to that one single thing. Technique of handling the light particle, light energy. The science worked on light energy and created all these objects. Our Eastern rishis, mystics, worked on sound particle and created all these products. We had really Pushpaka Vimana. We did really have the atom bomb, Brahmastra. Everything was true. Only one thing, in course of time, we lost the technology, that's all. The technology of handling the sound waves, we lost it. Just because the technology is lost, the whole thing is questioned. People have started thinking, all these things are just mythology. all these things are just Puranas. No. We lost the key. Because of that, we are not able to open the lock. Just because you are not able to open the lock, don't think there is no treasure. The whole Vedas is nothing but learning the technique or tuning yourself to work with light, with the sound particles. Just like how scientists work with light particles, the rishis have worked with sound particles. They were able to relate with higher energies. They were able to communicate through fire, just with the vibrations. The Sanjaya seeing through telepathy and Pushpa Vimana concept or Brahmastra, all these things are true. Not only true, they are fact. Only thing, they were using the light particle. They were not using the sound particle. When the cultural invasion happened, the techniques are lost. I myself have seen a sannyasi who will create fire just by few words. He will utter few words and he will create the fire. Just out of nothing. With few words, you will be able to create fire. And still now, if you go to Kumbh Mela, you can see hundreds of people burying their head inside the earth, more than 24 hours. And there are so many people who can play with this sound energy. I myself have seen in Kumbh Mela, 10 years ago, in Haridwar Kumbh Mela, I myself saw a sannyasi floating. He was floating. Complete, the public was seeing. And he was just floating. And I have seen sannyasis who sit on the nail board, who sit on that nail board. I even have a video recording of that. In the ashram we have a DVD, how they sit and how they are floating. Just with sound energy, they are able to do whatever science is able to do with the light particle, light energy. So here, when Krishna says, the person who renounced the fire is not just by renouncing a fire, he cannot become sannyasi. Same way, here I can say, just by renouncing your cell phone and life, you cannot become sannyasi. The attitude needs to be changed. You need to change the attitude. Krishna now starts, he continues. In the first sloka, he gave the gist of the last chapter, like a follow-up. He gives the whole gist and then he starts. Uttaredatmanatmanam atmanam avasadayet atmaiva hyatmano bandhur atmaiva riburatmanaha. Uttaredatmanatmanam atmanam avasadayet atmaiva hyatmano bandhu atmaiva riburatmanaha. In my discourses, if I have quoted any Gita sloka, more than twice means this is the only sloka. At least 100 times I have quoted this sloka in my discourses. I can say this is a gist of the whole Gita. This single sloka is the gist of the whole Gita. Yesterday, we understood the concept, how to move from doing and having to being. We are all stuck in having. And then little intelligent man moves to doing. Then you are supposed to move to being. We learned the technique of how to move, how to liberate yourself from fear and greed, how to move into the divine consciousness, how to move into bliss. Here Krishna says, Uttared Atmanatmanam Atmanam Avasadayet. The translation goes, one must deliver himself with the help of his own being and not degrade himself. The being is a friend of the soul and his enemy as well. You are your own friend and you are your own enemy. If you know the technique of how to lift yourself by yourself, you will become friend of yourself. If you let yourself down, you will become enemy of yourself. Yesterday we all learned the technique. How many of you yesterday requested you to follow the technique just for 10 days? Naturally, when you follow, again and again you will fall. You will fall. If you have not fallen, please be very clear, you have not done rightly. You have not practiced properly. When you practice anything, naturally you will fall. Again and again, suddenly you will forget. Oh, I started working out of fear. I started working out of greed. You will come back. Again and again you will come back. When you start working, naturally you will see there will be few problems. There will be few problems. A small story. There was a big spiritual organization. One monk was sent to a remote tribal area for doing the service. Suddenly, headquarters receives lot of complaint letters about that monk. The president says, after reading the complaint letters, we have posted right person, don't worry. The secretary asks, what is this master? We are getting all complaints about him. We are getting wrong information about him. How do you say that we have posted the right person? He says, if you are getting wrong information, if you are getting complaints, means he has already started working. At least something is going on. Always, when you start anything new, you will have three phases. First, resistance. Next, just avoiding. They will neither care nor resist. Indifference. Third, acceptance. This is the way anything will start. Same way, when you start doing anything inside your system, the same way you will start growing. First, resistance. Again and again you will fall. You will forget. Your system will resist. It will try to create all complications, all complaints, all possible arguments. Sometime, if you can't follow the teachings of Krishna, you will start blaming Krishna. I have seen many people, when they are not able to follow teachings of Krishna, straight away they will start criticizing Krishna. What Krishna? He was always flirting. He was always running behind women. He was Radha Lola. He is a Stree Lola. What type of man he is? Easily you can avoid, escape from Krishna by criticizing Krishna. When we can't practice these teachings, you have to justify yourself. And naturally, inside your being, your conscience will hurt you. So you have to justify. Some way you have to make your conscience believe you are doing right thing. So you have to find out some argument. So instead, when you are not able to follow, start criticizing Krishna. Best way to escape. best way to avoid the teachings of Krishna. When we resist, when our being resists, if you allow the resistance to grow, you are the worst enemy for yourself. That is what Krishna says here. Uttared atmanatmanam atmanam avasadayet. Let you lift yourself by yourself. If you don't, you will be your worst enemy. It is up to you to help yourself as a best friend or to hurt yourself as a worst enemy. Please be very clear. Nobody can hurt you unless you allow. Nobody can help you unless you allow. Nobody can hurt you unless you allow. Nobody can help you unless you permit. Uttared atmanatmanam. Let you lift yourself by yourself. Again and again these masters, they come and stand in the same point. Krishna says, let you lift yourself. If you have fallen, if you have failed, practicing these words which you learned yesterday, the teachings or the meditation technique, if you have forgotten, don't worry. Again and again lift yourself. Don't feel depressed. Don't have guilt. Don't think you will not be able to do. Again and again lift yourself. Even Buddha. The last teaching of the Buddha is Atma Deepo Bhava. The moment he was about to die, Buddha is about to leave the body. All his disciples are asking, Master, give us your message in one word. What's your ultimate message? Buddha says, Atma Deepo Bhava. Let you be light, guide unto yourself. Let you be guided by yourself. Atma Deepo Bhava. Let your being guide you. The same thing. Krishna says, Uttared atmanatmanam. Let you lift yourself by yourself. Nobody can do anything unless you lift yourself. Just the other day, the internet I was reading, Super Deluxe Kundalini Yoga. There was an advertisement, $240 they charge, and you don't need to do anything. They themselves, they have a bypass circuit. Your Kundalini will be raised to Sahasrara automatically. All you need to do is allow them to do that bypass surgery, bypass connection. Then your Kundalini will stay in the Sahasrara forever. I was just shocked. I was surprised. How can somebody else awaken your Kundalini? Of course, enlightened masters can awaken. But staying in that same state can be done only by you. They can give you the glimpse, satori. But staying in that consciousness and achieving samadhi can be done only by you. Uttared atmanatmanam. Only you can help yourself. Somebody goes to Buddha and asks, Master, you know enlightenment is the ultimate thing. Why don't you give that to all of us? Why don't you make us all enlightened? Buddha says, oh, you want enlightenment? Do you think that I should give enlightenment to everybody? Please go around and take a survey. How many really wants enlightenment? By evening, this guy comes back after taking an extensive survey in that whole city, and he says, Master, only 2 persons wants enlightenment. Buddha says, please bring them, let me give. He says, no, they are not ready to come from the house all the way here. If you can send by courier, they are ready to receive. If you can send from here, they are ready to receive and keep it in their house. They are not ready to come here all the way. Nobody wants. Even if you want it as a one more item in your showcase. We are not ready to risk anything for enlightenment. We want one more item in the showcase. We can say, whenever people come to our house, we tell, this is from Delhi, this is from New York, this statue is from Japan. Just like that you can say, oh, this enlightenment that Nithyananda Swami he gave. He was giving Gita discourse. I went and attended, he gave. How it looks? Just as a one more showpiece, we are ready to accept, but not ready to commit, or not ready to risk anything, not ready to take the responsibility. Buddha says, the existence is so great, it allows you, it gives you the freedom to be in bondage. God is so great, He gives you even the freedom to be in bondage. It is your freedom, whether to be in bondage or to be liberated. Even liberation should not be forced. If it is forced, even liberation is not liberation. If it is forced, how can it be liberation? It cannot be. So you have complete 100% choice to be liberated or to be in bondage. It is completely up to you whether to be liberated or to be in bondage. God is so great, He allows you, He gives you the freedom even to be in bondage. Here Krishna says, Uttared Atmanatmanam Atmanam Avasadayet. Let you liberate yourself by yourself. Unless you liberate yourself, nobody else can liberate yourself. If you help yourself, you are the greatest friend for your being. If you don't, you are the worst enemy for your being. Next, Krishna explains the same concept. Bandhuratmatmanastasya enatmaivatmana jitaha anatmanastu satrutve vardedatmaiva satruvataha. For him who has conquered the mind is the best of friends. But for the one who has failed to do so, his mind will remain the greatest enemy. This is an important sloka. This has to be understood with the next two slokas. Let us enter into the next two and then we will understand. Jitatmana prasantasya paramatma samahitaha Sidoshna sukha dukkeshu tadamana pamanayo Jnana vinyana truptatma kodasto vijidendriyaha yukta yucchate yogi samaloštashma kanchanaha. Let me give the translation, then we will enter into the understanding. For one who has conquered the mind, the super soul, Paramatma, is already reached. For he has attained tranquility. To such a man, happiness and distress, heat and cold, honor and dishonor are all the same. The next sloka says, the person whose mind is contented because of knowledge of spiritual science, who has subdued his senses, and to whom cloth, stone and gold are same, and who is satisfied with what he is earning, is said to be established in self-realization and is called a yogi. Throughout this chapter, Krishna speaks about senses, how our senses are functioning and what we are supposed to do. Let me give you a small diagram how our mind functions. and how our senses are working, then we will be able to understand the Gita in a much better way. Please understand how our mind works, how we process information, how we perceive things, how our senses perceive information, and how you take decisions, how you move in your life. First, for example, you are seeing something through the eyes. Let us take this scene. Now you are seeing something. Here I am explaining only based on eye. You can replace it with ears. You can replace it with the taste. You can replace it with smell. You can replace it with touch. With any pleasure, you can replace it. Here I am giving an example of eye. And this scene. Let us take the example of this scene. You are seeing me. First, your eyes will catch the picture or the scene. This will be taken to chakshu. Chakshu means the energy which is inside the eyes. This is called indriya. Please understand, eyes are not seeing. Through eyes, the energy is seen. Through eyes, something else is seeing. How to understand this? Sometime, your eyes will be wide open. If you are intensely listening some music, even if somebody walks in front of you, you will not know. Your ears are open. If you are intensely reading something, even if some sound happens, you will not hear the sound. It means you are not hearing just through eyes or just by ears. Something else is seeing through eyes. Which sees through eyes is called chakshu. The whole file goes to chakshu. The picture or the scene which you are seeing will go to chakshu. In chakshu, the important process happens. The whole file is converted into digital file. I am speaking in the computer language. Understand? The whole thing is converted into digital file. It's almost like a DSP, digital signal processor. The whole thing is converted into digital file. Inside the computer, if you have to process any information, it has to become digital file. Whether it is a picture or whether it is a sound, it has to be converted into digital file. Same way, inside, if the process has to happen, means the whole thing has to be converted into biosignal file, digital file. The file processing happens in Chakshu. Whatever scene you are seeing now, that picture will be converted into digital file in Chakshu. That file will now go to Chitta, memory. It will go to memory. In memory, the process will start happening. What is this I am seeing? What is this in front of me? First thing in memory, you will start analyzing and negating things. This is not this. This is not this. This is not this. That na iti, that will start happening in Chitta. First your mind will say, this is not a tree. This is not an animal. This is not a vehicle. This is not a rock. All these things, that na iti, that this is not, that process will happen in Chitta. Once that this is not happens, the file goes to mind. The mind starts saying, this is it, this is it. In mind, you start saying, the mind starts the identification process. This is it. Your mind starts saying, I am seeing a man standing with a kavi cloth. He is a Swami. He is teaching Gita. This is it. That identification will start happening in mind. Then the file goes to Buddhi, your intelligence. The intelligence does the process. What is there between me and this scene? What is the connection between me and the scene? What way I am related to him? What way now I am related to this scene? Your Buddhi will start analyzing with all your earlier experiences. Last 4 or 5 days I attended. It was really nice. I think it's really nice. Or if you think, no, I wasted my time yesterday itself. This is not worth. Some decision your Buddhi will take. Your Buddhi will say, some way it will respond, whether it is right or wrong, whether you liked it or not. Some way your Buddhi will give the response, and now the whole file will go to ego. According to the Buddhi's signature, the Buddhi will write in the file, yes or no. Buddhi will write in the file, yes or no. This is what, according to my past experience, or this is what my analysis, this is what is my decision. Whatever Buddhi feels will be signed. The whole file will go to ego. Ego will deliver the command. Ego will say, if Buddhi says yes, if Buddhi says, I enjoyed yesterday, it was such a wonderful experience, and ego says, sit here, continue to listen. Listen intensely. Ego will give command. If Buddhi says, no, yesterday itself I wasted my time, it was boring, and this is not for me. If ego says, if Buddhi says, this is not for me, immediately the ego gives the command, come, let's move. There is so much of work to be done in the house. The moment ego gives the command, automatically your whole being starts executing it. This is the way you receive information, you process it, and you respond. The information comes, the processing happens, and the response is given. This is the way our senses work. Now, Krishna says an important point. An important thing. Let me now explain. Eshu tada manapamanayo. For one who has conquered the mind, the super soul, Paramatma, is already reached. The eternal bliss is already achieved. For he has attained tranquility. To such a man, happiness is distress. Happiness and distress, heat and cold, honor and dishonor, all are same. Throughout this chapter, Krishna emphasizes on this one idea, senses. How can happiness and unhappiness, how can honor and dishonor, how can heat and cold be same for us, same for a man? How is it possible? First thing, when these senses do this process, you decide yes or no only based on your past experience. Only based on your past experience. The experiences with which you have grown are the words with which you have conditioned your chitta and manas. How your mind and memory has been conditioned. Only based on that your buddhi decides. Please be very clear. Something is so tasty for you, for your neighbor, that will be poison. Why to go for neighbor? Your wife. You may like something, but the other person may not like that. A small story. There are 3 ways to do anything. First, hire somebody, you can do it. Or do it by yourself. If you can't, just tell your wife not to do that. There are 3 ways you can do the work. When you don't want something to be done, just tell her to do. When you want something not to be done, you know the technique. Whenever your mind is caught in dualities, the dvandva, again and again and again, you fall back to your dilemma, to your suffering, to your nature, to your instinct level. Here, Krishna says, the person who has achieved the bliss is not affected by heat or cold. How to reach that state? Throughout this chapter, he is speaking only about senses. How to conquer the senses, how to go beyond the senses. First thing we need to understand, when I say the word conquering the senses, I don't mean controlling the senses or destroying the senses. If you try controlling the senses or destroying the senses, you will only struggle more and more and suffer more and more. Ramana Maharshi says beautifully, instead of killing the person, if you try to destroy the chair, destroying the chair will not work. Killing the person only will work. Here, your senses are just chair. Your ego is the person who is sitting there. If you try to control your senses, that is not going to work. If you try to control your body, that is not going to work. Krishna says beautifully, for one who has conquered the mind, for him, when he says the word mind, he means the whole ego, the whole setup, where the decision making is happening. Mind, buddhi and ego. This is the spot where the decision making is happening. When you just try to conquer the senses, again and again and again you will be failure. you will be a worst failure. And one more thing, if you have failed 2-3 times, you will lose the confidence. If you fail fighting with your senses, automatically you will lose the confidence. You will start thinking, it is never possible. I can never achieve it. You need intelligence to progress in this path. Small story. One guy wanted to go for a vacation to Juhu Beach. He went, he traveled. After 1 week, he came back. The friend asked, did you go to Juhu Beach? He said, no, I was not able to find. Did you not see any board on the highway? No, there was a board which said Juhu Beach left. I thought the beach is left and I came back. You need intelligence to travel, to progress in the path. If you try to work from the wrong side, if you try to work from the side of senses, you will never be able to succeed. It's like if you try to create more pressure on the cooker, you will not be able to succeed. First you need to remove the fire. You need to remove the fire. You need to stop the energy supply. Here, the ego or the buddhi, the place from where you take the decision, that from there continuously the decisions are supplied to your senses. All you need to do is to work on the level of mind, not in the level of senses. If you try to work in the level of senses, you will create only more and more perverted desires. For example, man who tries to control is eating. The man who tries to fast, you will see in the dream you will be feasting. If you just fast for 4 days, that's enough. The 5th day in the dream you will be feasting, because your body has got its own balance. Your body has its own intelligence. If you avoid something, it has to supply and it has to rejuvenate itself. If you are hungry, you can't sleep. If you have to continue to be in that state of sleep, your body should believe. You should be made to believe you are not hungry. So your unconscious energy creates the dream as if you are feasting. You are eating. Whatever you deprive, your unconscious will satisfy itself in the dream state. Because in the dream state there is no police, there is no state, there is nobody to control you. You just project your world and enjoy it. You just do whatever you want. An important thing, if you are suppressing anything, be very clear, in the dream automatically it will express. Dream is nothing but your suppressions. Dream is nothing but the expression of your suppressed desire and fear. Your fear or desire, when you suppress it, it expresses in dream. One important thing, it expresses in a very perverted way. In a very perverted way. With senses, you will never become tired. If you enjoy through dream, if you were frightened through dream, your whole being will suffer. You can see, if you had a nightmare, even after waking up, for hours, you will be in that same mood. You will be in that same mood. Your whole being will be shaken. Now, they are coming up with a new concept called fear stroke. Just like paralysis stroke, fear stroke. We do get fear strokes in dreams. We do get fear strokes in dreams. If you are suffering in the dream, dream level, be very clear, there is something seriously wrong in the mind and buddhi level. You are trying to control the senses instead of controlling the mind. Instead of removing the fire, you are trying to create pressure. All we need to do is to work on the mind, to remove the fire, to stop the supply of fuel, to stop the supply of energy. Krishna says, for the one who has conquered the mind, for the one whose mind has started doing the right processing, if your mind and chitta is filled with past memories, you cannot take right decision. Please be very clear. Don't think mind takes the decision only in a very logical way. Sometimes your buddhi takes decisions in a very funny way. For example, I was explaining how you take the decision whether to sit here or not. Sometimes your buddhi doesn't even think that much. If you had any problem with any other Swami or with any other person who was wearing this cloth, suddenly that memory will be awakened and your buddhi is not even ready to sit and listen. Your buddhi is not even ready to give a chance. Your buddhi is not even ready to think. Immediately it gives the order. Your ego gives the order. That's what I call prejudice. Changing the servants, you cannot change the leader. But by changing the leader, you can change servants. Mind is the leader who is leading. Mind is a master who is taking decisions. Here all you need to do is work on the mind, not on senses. Krishna says, for the one who has conquered the mind, the Paramatman is achieved. You don't need to achieve the bliss. It is there always with you. If it has to be achieved, there is every possibility it can be lost again. What is the guarantee? It will be there forever. Be very clear. Anything if you have to achieve, it is not worth achieving. Anything if it is your nature, then realize it. If it is to be achieved, there is every possibility. After 10 days it may be lost. Suddenly it may disappear. So here, Krishna says, all you need to do is conquer your mind. You don't need to achieve. I always tell people, Ananda Spurana is continuously happening. The bliss flowering is continuously happening. Spurana means life. The life energy. Your very life energy is bliss. Unless you have the bliss energy in you, you cannot inhale or exhale. The inhaling and exhaling itself happens because of bliss energy in you. The eternal consciousness in you. All you need to do is, you are stopping that bliss fountain again and again. All you need to do is just stop the stopping process, that's all. You don't need to create. Stop the stopping process. Here Krishna says, if you just conquer the mind, that is enough. The Paramatman is already achieved. Jitatmana prasantasya paramatma samahitaha. It is already achieved and you are with it. There is nothing to be achieved. When you conquer the mind, the happiness and distress, both are one and the same. You are not touched by it. A small story. How the happiness and sorrow is nowhere related to outer world. It's related to our inner world. Very beautiful story. One old man went to nearby city for some work. When he came back to his village, From distance, suddenly he saw his house is on fire. And he started shouting, screaming, he started rolling on the ground and started weeping. His son came to him and said, "Father, don't worry. Don't you remember just yesterday we sold that house? Just yesterday we sold that house." Immediately he sat up, wiped the tears, and in a single moment the suffering has disappeared. No misery, no sorrow. He says, "Oh, now I understand. Remember, yes, don't. Yes, I am relaxed." In 10 minutes, the next son comes and he says, "Father, yes, we sold, but we have not yet got the money." We have not yet got the money. Again this fellow started rolling on the ground, started weeping. "Oh, what happened to my house? I don't know what will happen. I don't know who will care for me. I don't know how to save myself." He started weeping. In next 10 minutes, wife came and she said, "Don't worry, just today morning I got the money and deposited in the bank. We are safe." Again he got up and wiped his tears. He's all right. See the story, same situation, same person. When he thinks it is his, he is suffering. When he thinks it is not his, he is liberated. Same situation, same person. What gives you suffering? Just one single thing, thinking that it is yours. Thinking that it is yours. Same way, there are people who can't enjoy unless it is theirs. One day I was going for a walk in the beach road. I was going for a walk. One person was walking with me. He's known to us. Suddenly he started telling, "Swamiji, I think we should have a cottage here. And it will be really nice. We can come out and sit in the evening and enjoy the breeze." I told, "Are we not enjoying now? Why do you need cottage here? Just look. Just see this whole thing. Enjoy." But the mind never enjoys unless you are sure that it is yours. Unless you possess that, you don't enjoy. Be very clear, the man who possesses and enjoys will never enjoy. By the time you possess the cottage, by the time you own the cottage, you will start worrying. "I think I should have this furniture. I should have that type of arrangement. I should do this. I should do that." Or already you have started thinking about the other cottage in some other place. Somebody goes to Ramana Maharshi and says, "Master, what a beautiful place it is about Arunachala." Ramana Maharshi is a great devotee of Arunachala. To him he says, "Master, such a beautiful hill, such a beautiful place. How nice to be here." Ramana Maharshi says, "Just be here for 3 days, everything will become all right." In 3 days you will take the things for granted. It will be beautiful only for 3 days, not more than that. The person who enjoys only by possessing will never enjoy. The person who enjoys will never bother about possessing. You are there always. Things are there always. It is just your mind. The mind sometimes, unless you are sure it is yours, it will not allow you to enjoy. Sometimes when you know it is yours, it creates suffering. Suffering or enjoyment is created only by that one place, only one link, that mind. If that link is disconnected, the whole process will happen beautifully. The only difference between you and an enlightened man is that one link missing. Don't think Enlightened man means he will have two big arms. Nothing. There is no difference between you and an enlightened man. The only one difference, one link, that mind link is missing, which continuously decides what is there for me, what way I am connected, what way I am affected. And I, that link is missing. If you can cross that link, if you can cut that link, if you can cross the I, you will become Christ. If you can cross the I, you will become Christ. Nothing else. All you need to do is just remove that one link. Don't try from senses. You will destroy it. We always complain about senses. Again and again, we say senses are spoiling us. No, you are spoiling them. Be very clear. Don't put the responsibility on senses. You are spoiling them. You destroy them. You abuse them. We abuse our senses. Look into our life. Night till 2 o'clock sitting and watching the baseball, television. Your eyes will be begging, please give me a little rest. Please give me little rest. When some advertisement comes, automatically your eyes will close. It wants to sleep. But because you want to enjoy, you abuse your eyes. Same way the gongura chutney. So hot. Tongue will be burning. Eyes will be pouring. The whole system will be burning. But not even with a fingertip, with a hand. And now just the word is enough. I can... how many mouths are feeling the taste? We abuse our senses. We disrespect our senses. Please be clear. Senses are not destroying us. Senses are not disturbing us. It is we who are disturbing the senses. It is we who are abusing the senses. It is this link. What is there for me? This link, the I. That is where the whole trouble starts. That is where you abuse your senses. All you need to do is not to control the senses, but to control the mind. Make it understand what is really happening inside your system. One more very simple thing, to tell you honestly, heart and taste, both are one and the same. Today, just try to do this simple experiment, very small experiment. Stretch your tongue and concentrate on the tongue. When you go back to your house, try to do it. Just concentrate on the tongue. Visualize as if you are walking on your tongue. Your tongue is a highway and you are walking on that road. Just concentrate on it. Then take a chili and sugar candy. Take a chili and sugar candy. Touch it from two corners. Put chili in one corner, sugar candy in another corner. And deeply witness what is happening. Suddenly you will realize the process which happens when you touch chili and the process which happens when you touch sugar candy, both will be one and the same. Please try to do this experiment. You will understand. If you go a little deep, if you go a little deeper inside your system, the hot and sweet both are one and the same. Only when you stamp that, this is hot, this is not good for me, this is sweet, I like this. Only when you put a rubber stamp, only when you label it, the trouble starts. as a process, as a nature, both are one and the same. Try today. If you experiment, you will understand. Both processes are one and the same. You label that based on your belief, your earlier beliefs. Based on that, you label them. You decide. You downhole your experiences. Based on your recorded memory, suddenly you decide, this is not good for me. Then you start thinking it is not good for you. And you really start feeling it is not good for you. One more thing we need to understand. Your thoughts are creating your senses. Your mind creates your senses. Don't think you are living with what you have. You create what you want to have. You are not living with what you have. You are creating what you want to have. Your thoughts are so powerful. Your mind is so powerful. It can change the whole body. It can just change the whole body. For example, one thought just now, try to think a person who creates disturbance in you or your enemy. Person who took money from you, not giving back. A person who gave you money and asking it back. Just remember that person. Immediately you can see the change happening inside your system. The whole chemistry is changing. Blood is boiling. BP is rising. Heartbeat is rising. Pulse rate is increasing. Just one thought, your whole system is changing. A single thought can change the whole chemistry. Or one thought which creates lust. One board or one hoarding is enough. Immediately your whole body chemistry changes. Your whole body is now ready. Please be very clear. Single thought can change the chemistry of your body. Your body is again and again created by your thoughts. It is your thoughts which creates the body. That is why in India there is a great science called Samudrika Lakshana. Seeing the body, seeing your face, seeing your way of standing, sitting and walking, they will tell the quality of you. They will tell everything about your mind. Because the rishis know the secret. The mind creates the body. It is your mind which creates the body. Body is the outer expression of mind. Body is nothing but outer expression of mind. Mind is nothing but inner experience of body. So if your mind changes, your whole body can be changed. Your whole system can be changed. Your whole senses will be changed. A man whose mind is controlled, whose mind is clearly reprogrammed according to the spiritual ideas. If you reprogram your mind, as on now, it is programmed for misery, towards dukkha. It is looking outward. If you can reprogram them to look in, towards bliss, your whole senses can be changed. Your whole senses can be changed. Please be very clear. All we need to do is just reprogram your mind to look in. That is the gist of the whole thing. And he says one more important thing, heat and cold. Heat and cold. Try this also. Beautiful experiment. I don't know whether you'll be able to believe or not. I have seen people living in Himalayas in snow with just 2 pieces of dress. Let me tell very clearly. I lived in Himalayas. I used to sleep on the snow with the same dress. I have lived. Very difficult to believe. But all you need to do is stop resisting, that's all. It is very difficult to believe, but you can do. Just don't create idea. The moment you feel the cool breeze, don't create an idea, cold, I may catch cold, I may have wheezing, I may have sinus, I may have asthma. Don't create big terms. And the West, the big problem is you learnt all nonsensical words. We know all the words, all negative words. More words you know about diseases, more the possibility of creating the disease in you. Because whenever you repeat something, you create that quality in you. Please be very clear. A simple experiment now you can do. You just sit with closed eyes and repeat 10 times. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. You will have peace inside you. Only thing, your wife's name should not be Santi. If you just repeat that word, Shanti, for 10 minutes and 10 times, you will start experiencing that quality in you. That quality will start happening in you. If you repeat the names of diseases, please be very clear, you will start creating the same diseases in you. There's a recent research, beautiful research. I went to the API convention, the American Association of Physicians of Indian Origin. There they gave me a big, their research works, beautiful book. I read few researches. One research says, the medical college, they did this research, medical colleges. If a particular disease, if the lessons are going on about that particular disease, for example, knee pain, more than 40% of the students get that pain. I don't know how you will understand this. More than 40%. Because continuously you are thinking about that symptom. And one more big problem. Whenever you hear any disease, any symptom, first thing you will do is you will compare with yourself. Do I have that? You will compare with yourself. You will see, do you have that symptom? Continuously, because they are meditating on that symptoms, 40% of the students express the same symptoms in their life. If the lesson goes to the next disease, they express that symptoms. Whatever you think, you express. If you are continuously thinking the wrong things, your senses will be created in the same way. Only one thing you need to do, just work on the mind. Just liberate the mind. Just purify the mind. Your whole system will be purified. Your whole senses will be reconstructed. Krishna gives a beautiful technique also to work on the mind. To work on the mind. Krishna says one more thing. Honor and dishonor will also be the same. This is very difficult. Cold and heat can be the same. You can even accept that. But honor and dishonor, very difficult. And it is simply impossible. One word is enough to make us mad. One word, single word thrown on us is enough to make us mad. Because somebody asked me actually, Swamiji, why do we bother so much about others' opinion? You bother about others' opinion so much because you don't know about yourself. You know about yourself only through others' words, others' opinions. You understand about yourself only from others. If everybody says you are beautiful, you get that record, you get that certificate. If everybody says you are intelligent, you get that certificate. If everybody says you are great, you get that certificate. If everybody says you are very smart, you get that certificate. Collecting all these certificates, with those certificates you build your personality. In our Life Bliss program, the first session is about this. The first session, why we get depressed. Why again and again we fall into a low energy. Because the energy source for you is other certificates. You don't have self-respect. You respect yourself only based on others' opinions. If others' opinions about you is good, you think you are great. If others' opinions about you is not good, immediately you fall. Have you seen the kids playing? They will build castles with playing cards. Same way, you build castles with other certificates. Your personality is nothing but a castle built with others' certificates. If one card is removed in that castle, what will happen to that castle? It just tumbles down. Same way, if a single person takes away his certificate, what happens to your personality? Just collapse. Again and again you fall into the depression. Please be very clear. Whenever you fall into the depression, either somebody would have taken their certificate or you are afraid that somebody may take away their certificate. That's all. Scan it. You will realize either somebody would have taken away their certificate or you are afraid that they may take away their certificate. We have no self-respect. Christ says, Jesus says, love thy neighbor as you love thyself. That is why so much of war. Because you don't love yourself. That is why so much of hatred. Jesus says, love thy neighbor as you love thyself. You don't love yourself. We don't have self-respect. We know about ourselves only based on others' opinions. We build our personality only by others' opinions. That is why we care so much for others' opinions. The first session of Life Bliss is this session. First thing I tell people is, if you want to live, learn how to live, how to stand on your own foot, how to be with yourself. As on now, our source of energy is others' opinions. If somebody comes and tells you, you are really great, you will try your best to say, no, I am not, but inside what happens? See very clearly, inside what happens? Inside the mind is telling, tell little more, tell little more. But outside you feel very shy. But inside mind says, no, little more. Okay. Continuously, we are fueled by others' opinion and we work to get others' opinion. Meditate on this one statement. This is a sutra. This is a great sutra which can liberate you. Don't worry about others' opinions. Don't worry what others are thinking about you, because they are worrying about what you are thinking about them. They are worrying, thinking what you are thinking about them. Don't worry about others' opinions, because they are worrying about your opinions about them. Meditate on this one statement. It will completely liberate you from this problem of honor and dishonor. You will be liberated from the honor and dishonor. Look into your life. Whomsoever is standing in your consciousness, about whoever's opinion you are worrying, all of them are bothered about your opinions. Be very clear. If you are bothered about somebody's opinion, directly or indirectly, he is also bothered about your opinion. It is just give and take game. It is just give and take game. Don't bother about anybody's opinion, because they are bothering about your opinions.